We continue our working day at Ukraine Crisis Media Center Press Center, and today we're going to speak about the experience of Slovakia in the sphere of energy efficiency and the experience that can be shared with Ukraine. And we have a lot of examples at the local level. So the mayors and local government introduces practices that can be used in Ukraine. And we would like to know the experience of Slovakia. And our speakers are Mykhailo, Honchar, President of the Center of Global Strategy, Strategy 21. He is going to speak about energy efficiency reform and the cooperation with the EU and Slovakia. Mr. Karlan Hirman, expert of Center of Slovakia Association Foreign Policy for Best Practices of Slovakia in the sphere of energy efficiency, and Andriy Chubyk, Executive Director of the Center of the Global Strategy, Strategy 21. First, before speaking about the case, the experience of Slovakia, and the experience Slovakia can share. So we may say that in cooperation with our partners, the Slovak Association of Foreign Policy, represented by Karl Hirman, they work in Ukraine, and our center has the project. We have it starting 2015 for 1.5 years, and this project was in the framework of Visegrad Group in the sphere of energy efficiency for Ukraine. And now this is the case, but the initiator of this project was the Slovakia side, and not only at the level of our partners from the Center of Association of Foreign Policy, but also from governmental level, and the project is supported by Slovak aid, and also support is provided to the project by US aid, and this is really important when we are speaking about cooperation of the European Union and Ukraine. The EU stresses the importance of best practices in energy efficiency. These are not just words, but these are actions and support, including financial support. And our mission, the mission of Santa, that we should find joint points and to find experience where this was practically implemented, the experience of Slovakia, and to find the end user, let's say it like this, in Ukraine. So in this case, we are speaking about small towns and cities, the budgets of which are too small, and they cannot waste resources. So I won't tell you about the whole project, but I would like to say that from the start, it was more educational. Experts came from different countries in Visegrad, and they carried out and held the training for civil servants, representatives of the ministries, and our partner here was the State Agency on Energy Efficiency. And then there were some trips organized for several categories, including mayors of small towns to Slovak Republic, and then to Czech Republic. And Ukrainian participants of our project, they could see by their own eyes the results and achievements in the implementation of the relative programs in Slovakia or Czech Republic. And at the end of this brief speech, I would like to say that recently, in 2017, due to our Slovak colleagues, and Karl Hirman directly participated in this energy audit for the needs of the mayor's office in Khotyn town. And this audit was provided, and energy audit, this is important in order to introduce some measures. First, we should establish what the situation is in the energy sector. So this project will develop in the future, and we are at the next stage. But first, we would like to have some intermediate conclusions, the same we did last year. So in this case, I would like to give the floor to my colleague, Andriy Chubyk, in order that he told you about the aspects of our work, and then our colleague Karel Hirman will tell us about his opinion on this. And in the process of cooperation with Slovakia, for us it is really important to have this feedback. What we planned and what we implement, it should be efficient. Not just for beautiful presentation or report. It should have good consequences in practice. Good afternoon, dear friends. I would like to say several words about the results we achieved and the plans we have for the nearest future. So the results, these were the trainings for the central body of power. Also, there were trips for the representatives of the mayor's offices and for the representatives of the government. They were able to travel to Visegrad Group countries, and in this process they were able to see how their colleagues work abroad and how this work changed after they joined the EU, and they got information about how to use and implement energy efficiency, and they even went further. They found their own way how to improve energy efficiency. They overcame many problems, and they joined people around the ideas of energy efficiency and how this was done, how they solved communal problems locally. So we believe that it is important to summarize the experience that was shared to Ukrainian side. There were discussions with our colleagues, representatives of the central bodies of power and mayor's offices, and we jointly created a separate small book. This is the guideline how in these countries of Visegrad Group how they implemented this process. So first they declared their wish to improve energy efficiency, to improve the parameters of the functioning of the economy, and to improve lives of people, and at the same time reduce energy consumption. So there are some limitations concerning these guidelines. We didn't put there because it would take several hundred of pages if we would write it about different countries. So we just provided concise information about the examples, best practices we included there. So we tried to do it together with using some illustrative material. We provided references in order to be able to use these materials and to find also contacts in Slovakia towns and the Czech towns, and through communication we will try to improve lives in our towns. And I believe we are among the first who want to work in this sphere, not only at the central level, but also at the regional level. And there was a long process of energy efficiency, and its priority is still pressing. So at a local level, people try to search for alternatives. The most active people, they have results. They can share their experience. And mentioned today was the president, a small town in Chernovetsky Oblast. This is the historic place, and the mayor of this town tried to search alternatives to improve the lives of people, and they do not wait for some subsidies or donations from the state budget. And in the short period of time, we were able to carry out an energy audit at different communal enterprises in this town, and it created a basis for this town in order to apply for the projects of a bigger or smaller scale, with the help of which they will be able to find some grants or financing in order to implement the programs of modernization. This can be in several directions, and we recommended to them that they should have comprehensive approach if they are speaking about modernization of energy, of heat supply. That should be comprehensive work. They should identify several facilities that really need replacement or modernization, to identify the needs and what needs hypothetically may arise. For warming some buildings, and then to go to generation. So there should be logic steps to provide proper generation, proper transmission, and proper consumption. So in this context, the project was implemented due to Slovak aid help, and this project was also supported by USAID, and due to this, we were able to continue this project, and we broadened it. And at the end of February this year, in Dnipro city, they held the conference for the representatives of southern and eastern regions of Ukraine. And there we gathered representatives of the mayor's offices, the mayors and their deputies, and also experts and heads of the departments that are in the sphere of communal enterprises in the towns and settlements. And together we discussed the issues, and we also see the positive experience of Slovakia companies, and they really made a breakthrough, and they implemented projects in the territory of Slovakia, and they are ready to share this experience and innovations with Ukrainian partners and to work in Ukraine. And at the moment, based on those contacts that were established in the course of the conference, we prepare a trip. This will be training for the representatives of mayor's offices from east and the south of Ukraine to Slovakia. That will be held in June this year. And in the course of this trip, we will be trying to show to the representatives of these offices the large scope of these projects that were realized in the Slovakia towns, and they will be able to communicate with mayors and visit the facilities of interest to speak with the representatives of the companies, with local communities, and this way to understand the approach to the issues, the need to carry out reforms, how they searched for funding, how they applied, who were the potential donors, and how these projects were implemented, and what citizens got in result, and how their lives improved, maybe their comfort increased, or some other improvements, financial aspects connected with the budgets of the towns and many other issues that are important and that the heads of local government deal with. So further, we plan to have another conference to share experience for the representatives of the central and eastern oblasts of Ukraine, and we will cover the whole territory of Ukraine. In 2016, we had the same event for western regions and partly central region, and now we are going to try in September to provide best practices of Slovakia experience, to provide this experience to southern and eastern oblasts of Ukraine. Due to this, we will be trying to make a group of initiative mayors and employees of mayor's office. And due to contacts, due to this experience that they will see in Slovakia, they will be bringing this experience to their own towns, and they will be able to propose good solutions to the problems, to improve the level of lives of the citizens, and at the same time to create motivation for economic growth in the towns. Thank you. And now I give the floor to Karol, and he's going to tell you more about what Slovakia has and what it's ready to share, and what can be of help in our situation. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, dear friends. I would like to tell a few words. It sounds the same in Slovak and in Russian, that it is better to see once than to be told 100 times. So we think it is better to demonstrate to grassroots public from towns and villages how it works in Slovak Republic. There is a proverb that it's better to learn on lessons of other persons than to repeat mistakes, and not to invent a bicycle, not to invent a wheel. So based on these proverbs, we started this project. We launched energy efficiency project several months before this trend became popular in Ukraine. We started this project before. We had started it before the agreement on association signed. I see here some persons who were present at the meeting on energy efficiency fund establishment in 1990s. One of the best reforming laws on condominiums was adopted in Slovak Republic. It is about energy performance of buildings inter alia. This is the basis. The general public and local self-governments, local authority, they should understand, not only in Slovak Republic, but in other post-Soviet countries. Thanks to this, we can implement energy efficiency in efficient manner now. Our partners from Western Europe ask why in Ukraine it is not so fast, the process is not so fast as in other countries. In our country, this process is a result. The process is intensive for 8 or 10 years. Before that, we made efforts, and it was a gradual process. In Ukraine, we should accelerate our pace, but residents, house owners, apartment owners, they should understand that building as a whole is their property, not only their own apartment area. They should understand this, and unless they understand how to manage the houses, the building performance, then no mayor, no boss of utilities department will do this instead of them. Who is responsible? This is a systemic question, because they say the question is where to get money. But money is not the main problem. The main problem is preparation of projects. If there is no preparation, there will be no outcomes. Then they will say Europeans invented something, but it doesn't work. It works when all details have been thoroughly elaborated. I am an advisor in the group which is headed by Ivan Mykhailo, an ex-minister. And for us to do this together in Ukraine, the experience, the best practice of Visegrad group demonstrate that the outcomes could be real. This is not only thermal modernization of buildings to save money on heating. The building appearance changes, and the cost of this flat, its value increases because the building has been repaired and the life standard differs a lot. I don't like when our Western partners in the EU tell us what to do. We should demonstrate what we do, what we have already achieved, and what lessons we have learned. And you are to decide what best practices you want to use here. And if this best practice is efficient, you can use it. And this is not true that something won't work here. If it works in Slovak Republic, when we started from the same political, economic and social basis, and if we have achieved the outcomes, I don't understand why it would not work in Ukraine. There are no reasons for it not to work. So I hope we will continue this project some way. This experience is important because if a person can't touch this, individuals, residents of towns, they are not competent and they do not have money, they do not have knowledge. They should put efforts themselves. And mayors of towns, they need very many efforts to put into everyday responsibilities fulfillment. We should give mechanisms, tools, so that mayor's office and general public can get this assistance from us. The residents of this apartment multifamily buildings, so that they can improve their buildings and they become energy efficient ones. Thank you, Carol. Yes, indeed, Carol, why he works in this group of Miklos advisors? Because in Slovak Republic, he addressed not only energy sector and energy efficiency, but he has realized the project in the town of Novodubnitsa. And he is the person who knows not only knowledge, but practical experience as well. I would like to mention that we continue our project, and in this case, much depends on the activity of the grassroots, of final consumers, their willingness to achieve changes in energy consumption mix. One example, I would like to remind that Mayor Holovliov of the town of Khotyn, he was very insisting in trying to find money for energy audits. He addressed the Q Club. His search was long in time. There were no money in the budget of so small town. They could not find 100,000 hryvnias for energy audit. So he found the institution where to get money for energy audit. 3 times we proposed one town to join us, and he wrote in his program that energy efficiency is among his priorities and activities, but he didn't join us. So Khotyn was an enthusiastic town. Its mayor was enthusiastic. So based on this energy audit, they can develop energy modernization program. And our assignment is to help and to disseminate Slovak Republic experience in Ukraine. I'd like to add that our good partner in Ukraine is an association of energy efficient cities of Ukraine and coalition of mayors. Proactive mayors are members of the association, and those mayors who are interested, they address us with their questions and requests, and I'm thankful to them for cooperation. This way we develop the network of energy efficiency. We better do something ourselves, but not wait until someone give us the answers or assistance. And now, are there any questions to our speakers among the audience members? Sidor Dnipro, Union News Agency, I have question to Slovak colleague and other experts. How do you assess the decisions on energy management plan of state-owned institutions? What should be done? Give us please a comment on these actions, these measures, what should be incorporated so that we use the right way, we go the right way. This is not the news conference on the plans of Ukrainian government and its decision. We can talk about this in the launch of records. Energy management of state authorities, governmental authorities is a key aspect. The key aspect which is responsibility of mayor's office. Energy management, where district heating is in place, the concepts of energy management should be in place. After that, good and bad decisions on energy management can be compared. Energy management is a must for companies, for municipalities, for the state on national level, but this is not the topic of today's news briefing. Konstantin Grushevsky 5, Mykhailo. What technology of renewable energy is most suitable for Ukraine, taking into account its weather conditions and economic conditions? For Ukraine, most optimum version is biomass technology, but this does not mean that wind or solar energy technologies should not be used or be somewhere not in priority. We have very large potential of not used biomass. In the EU, biomass is not on the last place. This is an illusion that solar and wind energies are priorities in Europe. Yes, biomass is priority in Slovak Republic for district heating. Without any subsidies from the government, it is economically efficient, and it should be addressed in incorporating all environmental impact aspects. Agricultural biomass has large potential in Ukraine. It could be used for generation of both electricity and heating. As cogeneration, heating for district heating systems could be produced from biomass. And at the same time, electricity is generated by cogeneration plants as well. Without subsidies and without making consumers responsible for the added costs. As concerns Ukraine, what financial mechanism for RE development can be used? What we are talking about thermal modernization or about renewable energy? They are different topics. For thermal modernization of building envelopes, renewable energy doesn't play any role in this. Both steps and implementation should be logical, not to make mistakes. We should address this matter in systemic way. First, I will change windows for more energy efficient ones. After that, hydro regulation of system. So all steps in thermal modernization should be consecutive and systematic. How the works should be completed. Discreditation of thermal modernization was observed 15 years ago when in some buildings humidity points were inside the buildings but not the outside of their envelopes. In Slovak Republic we demonstrated these details. They are the essence of the matter. RE, I told you, biomass in cogeneration, biomass systemic use, agricultural biomass use, taking into account the considerations of environmental impact, this is the way forward. Good afternoon, Borsnyansky. I have question to Mr. Chubyk. How administration of a small town in Chernihiv region can join your project in the concept of energy audit? Maybe the first step should be, as Mr. Karel said, to search opportunities to join Association of Energy Efficient Towns of Ukraine. This is a profile NGO disseminating best practices. It is a coordinator and facilitator of international financial assistance. Thanks to Slovak aid, we have implemented the first pilot energy audit project, and we hope that in our cooperation with donors, we can negotiate that 1, 2, or 3 pilot projects will be completed in other regions. Here we will be thankful to USAID if they also help us to demonstrate, because not all potential partners can come to us, to Khotyn, to see what we have done. You should find someone similar to you, unite with them, network, talk about their common problems, and engage the opportunities of international assistance. In Khotyn, we can trace that we were willing to achieve good results. Our mayor's office has 13 members of staff, but the vacancy of energy audit manager was introduced onto the payroll. We established a database which helped in energy audit implementation. It helped us, this data helped us to understand the consumption in different seasons, to show regular and non-regular surges in consumption, and to compile the list of recommendations which can be implemented now and which can give good effects in future. So be proactive, unite with similar communities, search for opportunities, and you should have a small team which is really ready to work on volunteer basis and know English. But everything should be approached with good sense. Do not invent wheels. Just use best practices in Ukraine. The main thing is willingness, proactiveness, and creating critical mass of people who are ready to change. Thank you for being carriers of change and communicating changes here. Thank you.